Today we're talking about 6 reasons why public speaking is essential for gym owners. Part of the reason why we're talking about this is because, James, you've just been on a speaking event in Serbia. Tell us a little bit about that and tell us a little bit about Serbia. Not a part of the world I've ever been to, so...
It's not a part of the world I ever thought about going to either. I don't know why. Maybe that's my bias towards remembering the 1990s and what happened in the war over there.
The war finished a while ago.
It finished a long time ago. Let's finish a long time ago there. However, I don't know what it was. It just hasn't been on my radar. But oh my God, it is quite possibly one of the best trips I've had in a very long time. The food was out of this world. I can't stop talking about the food. And the hosts, and Boysha and Svetlana from the Optima conference and what they do out there were just incredible hosts. I can't say enough good things. In fact, she just messaged me now with photos and videos from the whole event. So let's have a look to that later on. But yeah, great event, great guests. Got to network with loads of other speakers there who hadn't met before. And it was just a phenomenal time. I highly recommend everybody going to check out Serbia if they want just a weekend of pure gluttony and good camaraderie and good people. There you go.
Pure gluttony. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so as we said, 6 reasons why public speaking is indeed essential for gym owners. You experience a lot of this, obviously. Reason number 1, authentic connection. Tell us a little bit about why public speaking helps you grow authentic connections.
Yeah, so I think I can safely say some of the best contacts and the best lead clients we've ever had is through meeting people in person first and having that authentic connection with them, whether it's the cricket players, whether it's with gym owners, PT owners, studio owners, all these types of people. They tend to come from us meeting them in person at speaking events, because social media is all well and good. Emails are all well and good, but to develop a real human connection with somebody, you've got to meet them in person. So there's nothing better than this, than attending these events. Whether you're speaking at these events, or whether you're going to these events, it's all about the networking opportunities. And I always think that you tend to learn more and get the best business in the after parties almost.
I was going to say in the pub afterwards.
Yeah, the pub, the bar, at lunchtime, going around on Monday morning with Rick from NASM and his facility, like that's a good example of that way. It was just it's a better way to connect with somebody and get to know them properly. So yeah, authentic connection only comes across in person, right? And you've got to remember this. You've got to build that authentic connection, because we're in this human to human environment. We're in this personal environment, personal training environment. If you're a gym owner, you've got to create those connections to keep them coming back to you time and time again.
Yeah, well, 100%. It just makes me think of a couple of years back at Perform Better in Germany when we met Ken and Wendy in the hall in the lobby of the hotel, and we were like, being besties with them from NASM, by the way. Ken and Wendy from NASM, they're great guys, and we were like, just made a real connection with them right there and then, didn't we? We were talking about going and picking up dropping off the car and then walking back 50 minutes, and we're like, are you guys crazy? It's like, we're British, we walk.
Exactly. But yeah, no, exactly that. It's an authentic connection, and you can only get it from working with people in person. So number 1, authentic connection is the reason to do public speaking.
Andrew, I'm going to come to you for point number 2. How can it help you grow your audience?
A number of ways. First of all, because you're in front of them, they're getting to hear you. You solidify your position as an authority on the topic you're talking about. So they're going to then look to find out more about you, which ultimately means coming to your socials, jumping on over to your website, joining your email list. So that grows. But equally, just in that connection with them, and through association of, in James' example, the connections he's made at the event he was at, relationships are formed there. Invites will come in due course to jump onto a podcast, to attend other things like that. So you get in front of additional audiences there. So that amplifies the reach that you have as well. So they're key elements that I would instantly look at for sure.
Yeah, and talking about being invited onto podcasts, you have been invited onto podcasts, and that links in with point number 3, all about establishing expertise.
Exactly. So The only one I was out there was I invited onto a podcast, which we'll talk about at some other time. But I invited a number of other people onto our podcast to establish and grow our network even more, which is why podcasting is such a great tool to create these connections and create these relationships with people. So, but one other thing is when you're invited on stage to a big event like that, it does establish your credibility and your authority, and more importantly, your expertise. So when you are public speaking as a gym owner in front of potential gym owners or potential gym clients or members, right? You're becoming the expert in their eyes. They're there to learn from you. So if you want to do business with somebody, they're going to know, like, and trust you. And with that comes expertise, right? You've got to show your expertise so they can know, like, and trust you and build this relationship thoroughly. So yeah, absolutely. Public speaking in any form of way, whether it's a podcast, whether it's on a YouTube video, whether it's a social media video, but then in person really stamps that authority and that expertise you have to shine through and stand out from the crowd, basically.
Absolutely. Reason number 4, it can also, not always, but sometimes be an additional revenue stream as well. Now, we haven't necessarily used it for that reason in the past, have we, James? We've gone more like we've used it for the connections, haven't we? But it can potentially create additional revenue.
Well, it does. Like we use public speaking at these events as a marketing play. So people always ask me, like, James, well, what do they pay you to go and speak at these events? And I always say for free. So these fitness conferences events, I don't charge anything. They cover basic expenses to get their hotel and flight. But I see these as marketing expenses because guess what happens? Like, we had a number of people opt in for some of our lead magnets when we were at the workshop when I was presenting. I've created these connections, so additional revenue will come down later down the line. Now, in maybe some other corporate speaking gigs, you can create additional revenue from this. Somebody may attend your workshop and go, hey, I think this should be really good for my employees at my business that I own. So that could be a form of way getting in. So yeah, like it creates further opportunities for business. Maybe not in the way you think it is, because people associate speaking with being paid, but it's not about that. It's about the long-term relationship and developing those connections to widen your audience. So see it more as a marketing expense as opposed to a cost of doing business, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew, the next one, point number 5, is quite a big and serious one, of something people think about a lot: overcoming fear. It can be challenging and a little bit, people be nervous about speaking at public events, can't they? Why is it important to overcome that fear?
Essentially, we've got to use these things as a way of promoting ourselves. We've got to get out and meet people, even more so these days. We hide behind the computer screens. We've had lockdown a few years ago, and that has changed the roadmap ahead. People work from home and hide a lot. We're not out mixing with people as much now. But one of the biggest fears in the world is speaking, public speaking. I think back to years ago when I went to secondary school, and we were forced up onto stage to do debates and all that, and I hated that. You would hear the tremble in my voice when we did that. But equally, just through, like anything, the more you do something, the better you get at it. You find that when you come off stage, I'm sure James can agree with this, that even if you were scared going on, and you've got to have that element of fear, I think, because it shows you care. But when you come off, you wanted to get back on again to do it again. It's that there's a bug that you want to, an itch you want to scratch. But for overcoming, I think one of the biggest things, and I've shared this recommendation with a number of clients, joining groups like Toastmasters. They give you guidance, they give you support, and it gives you the experience and confidence to be able to get your feet wet with talking, and then just doing it. And the last thing I think is, if we're talking on certainly in my instance, if I'm talking on a topic that I have experience in, then it's so much easier to deliver on that, and your passion comes through then as well, and you lean into it, and the flow comes then. And I think that's a great way. But you've got to overcome that fear and take that first step, and it'll pay dividends, believe me.
Absolutely. And finally, reason number 6, converting leads. How can public speaking help convert more leads, James?
Cool. Well, very simply, people may not know you enough, may not like you enough, and may not trust you enough yet to do business with you. So, an opportunity for, I think this is a good example, a weight loss workshop, an evening class about nutrition or something along those lines is a great way of pulling people in to say, hey, we're doing this free talk. You're on our email list. Come and see us in person. It's completely free. Maybe even it's a free workout for people who aren't gym members to see what it's like, a taster session or something like that, right? You pull people in. They get to know, like, and trust you because they enjoy the workout. They meet other people like them. Maybe other people want to join at the same time as them, and they meet the owners and they get to know them in person. So it's all about that bridging that gap to bridge the idea of like, well, I'm not quite sure about this person yet. Get them in person, meet them there, and they change their whole world. That's essentially what we're trying to do here. So it's that, not indoctrination, but almost like it's a safety card almost to say, hey, come on in, see what we're all about, and we love it. So yeah, so you've got to give people a nudge sometimes. Some people are not always ready to commit to the gym. They have a load of fears, objections, issues they have with past gyms maybe. So you're going to overcome those objections, and something like public speaking to pull people in and attract them is a great way to do it. And people always want to do nutrition workshops and classes because they always want to lose weight. How about that? That's my top tip right there.
Absolutely, they do indeed. Yeah, go, Andrew.
Just thinking about that, James has reminded me of a great example. I remember a number of years ago, I helped a client, Lisa Moore. She had a business, Fit for More, in Sussex, and she had a friend whose working title was Mrs. Menopause, and Lisa, being a personal trainer, was working with female clients that fitted that demographic. So I encouraged Lisa to put on this event. I turned up. There was only one other bloke there. It was a room full of women of a particular age, and the topic was the menopause. And I've never seen so many women rush to the front for freebies of lubricant when they these sample packs. But I jest on that. It's obviously an important and serious topic, but Lisa was able to put this on. So she had the authority of hosting this. Others that were there, so she was sharing the load with others who talked. They all shared their lists, and everybody benefited. And Lisa got significant traction and a platform to build upon through putting the work in to get these experts together, and she ultimately got an additional client base from that. So that to me was a perfect example of zeroing in on a niche that you enjoy working with, finding that target client avatar, putting the work in, and then benefiting in the aftermath from that.
Yeah. Oh, a fantastic example there, Andrew. Thank you very much. So that is your 6 reasons why public speaking is essential for gym owners. That is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. If you want help getting more clients or patients, then book in for your free 15-minute strategy call with us by going to strengthmatters.com/strategy.